Hey, again, my name is Eric and I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is February 28th, 1997. I've been around here for a little while and my home group is Room with a View. And it's good to be here. I look at all the smiling faces and all the faces and everybody from different places. Man, it's an honor to be here. An alcoholic like me. I often think sometimes, why me? I'm blessed, y'all. Y'all need to know that. My story won't be complete because it's not over, but in a general way, what it used to be like, what happened in my drinking, and what is it like now without MD 2020. That's what's going on with me today. I was trying to think of what I want to talk about. First thing that came to me was when I was in junior high school. It's a long time ago. And I remember I was in the classroom and we had to dissect a frog. I don't know if they do that anymore. I don't know if they do or not. I don't know. But anyway, what the teacher told us to do was take that frog and put him in a hot pot of water. And the frog jumped out. And I was like, oh my God, the frog went crazy. But then he said, put a frog in cold water and heat it up and slowly heat it. And the frog would sit there and boil. I watched it and it happened. That let me know that that's what I was doing in my life. Jumped in hot water and I wanted to get out, but didn't know how. Then this alcohol fried my brain. There was a commercial on back then that said, look at this egg is on, this is what's happening to your brain. I'm like, oh my God, I really don't care because I need to feel normal. I need to feel like I can do something in my life. Without alcohol, it was not like that. I started drinking kind of at an earlier age, not too early, but then, what kind of happened to me, and I'll move on with my story. I have a sponsor, let me share that. And I have a grand sponsor, and he's getting ready to celebrate 39 years on August 12th. And my sponsor came here tonight to be with me. So I'm trying to do the right things in life. But let me tell y'all this. I drank rubbing alcohol mixed with Welch's grape juice. That was the kind of alcoholic I was. I couldn't do anything with my life because I just needed alcohol. And then I used all other kind of party favorites, they call it, solid, liquid, and gas. I used everything that was possible. And then one day I said, well, let me mix some Welch's grape juice with some rubbing alcohol. I put that down my throat. And it didn't kill me. It just kind of burned a little bit. I was like, So the next time I just put more Welch's grape juice into the rubbing alcohol. And I did that for a few days. And then by that time, I realized in the mornings that there was 3 invisible men used to show up in my life. I found out since I've been here, the guys taught me that was called DTs. I had no idea. I was one of the most popular people in my high school, and people were talking about, man, you was smelling on the bus. You was talking to these people. They didn't know what was going on, but they just was looking at me like, man, something wrong with this dude. Anyway, those 3 men directed my whole life. I'm going to give you 2 examples of what they did that really directed my life. First of all, I was at Sammy's Liquor Store. That's on Blainsburg Road and South Dakota Avenue. And I went to that store, and by this time, they didn't like me drinking near the store, around the store. They wanted me to move far away. Well, I went in there one day to the liquor store, and there was a leak coming in, and they had a bucket on the counter. And so I said, give me my regular, I got some Old English, and I think I had enough money to get some Kamachaki vodka or something like that. But anyway, so I got outside, and the 3 men started talking to me before I could drink. Those 3 men were saying things like, man, you can break in there. It's a hole in that roof, and you can get in there. All you got to do is go across the street and get that ladder from the gas station because it ain't chained up. They just knew that, man, them 3 men were smart, Anyway, I did what they said about 2 o'clock in the morning. So I walked back and I got the ladder. I climbed up on the roof. I had no idea that they was working on the roof. And it's 2 in the morning, so it's dark. They had some black tar paper going across the top. I walked across that roof and I fell through between my legs. I rolled off of that board, and the second floor, they tore the floor down, and I went straight into the liquor store. Alarms going off, everything going crazy in the store. Y'all talk about bottom shelf and top shelf drinking and things like that. So I crawled, my lip was busted, my kneecap was cracked, and my ankle was broke. I could not walk, I could not do nothing. And I went around in that store crawling around, and I was drinking all kind of liquor on the bottom shelf that I could reach. I was just drinking. Then I got to the gin. I remember this like it was yesterday. And that gin, I spit it out. I said, oh my God, how can people drink gin? But anyway, I just kept going around and drinking vodka and brandy and whatever else was down there. I couldn't reach up too high. I got to the counterpart and I saw some stand back. So I dropped all that because I knew I was going back to jail. My DC number is 176094. I was in the old jail, new jail. I was in like 7 penitentiaries: Lewisburg, Petersburg, Atlanta Penitentiary, Buckner for mental observation. I was in St. Elizabeth. I was in Clifton T. Perkins Mental Institution. I was all over this country. And I'm telling y'all that because of the miracle of this program. So anyway, all of a sudden, this helicopter shining the light down in the liquor store. Talking about, come out with your hands up. We're going to sick the dogs on you. And I'm looking up through that hole and I'm saying, I can't get out. I can't get out. They said, they're going to sick the dog. We'll sick the dogs on you. I was like, oh my God. So I could hear the back steel gate opening. And I heard the dogs barking. I said, oh my God, they're going to eat me up. So I started hiding behind a potato chip rack. And anyway, them dogs just came by. And I don't know if y'all can see my arm, but they chewed me up bad. And I'm steadily going crazy. And another time those 3 men told me something to do, and I never forget it, is when I, because I was in so many jails and things like that, that the 3 men kind of told me, they said, they were sitting on my mother's step and I was in the kitchen and they said, why don't you make your wine? I said, okay. So I got the government fruit cocktail. I got the cans of sugar that was on the side of the sink, them containers with the sugar, and I poured it in the bowl. Then them yellow packs of yeast, I just grabbed all of them, just threw them in the bowl. And they said, okay, good job, make you some wine. And all of a sudden, this thought came to my mind. It took me 3 weeks to make it when I was incarcerated in Lorton. I said, well, if I put it in the microwave for 30 minutes, it'll probably do well. So I put that thing in that microwave, man, and it was like a pluka. A pluka. All of a sudden, it blew up. Boom. I mean, man, my mother's microwave blew up. And them guys sitting on the steps telling me, you better hurry up. Your mother come. So I went over and got the sink rag and tried to clean out all of the, because, that was some good wine. And so I was pulling it out and some pieces of cheese and hamburger. I didn't care. I was keeping it in that bowl. And all of a sudden, I was going to take that rag and throw it back in the sink, and I realized it was some good wine. So with that sudsy, soft, oily rag, with that wine, and I squeezed it and drank it. Because that was some really good wine. That's the insanity, y'all. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about the crazy things that happen in my life. I think about the miracles because no matter how far down the scale you've gone, you can see how your experience can benefit others. And I'm hoping today that y'all are just like me if you're painstaking about this phase of your development. And that means that I went through the steps of this program. The first step, the second step, the third step was me to go on with the rest of the program because I made a decision. I knew I couldn't do things right. And my sponsor always told me that once you make a decision, that don't mean things happen. You got to have action with that decision. And my life began to grow and grow and grow. I walked down the steps of Room with a View, and I tell you, it was a miracle for me. I walked in there because, I had went to Blair Shelter because I raised my hand in a meeting, and I said, my father told me to get out the house. Your mother can't even take a shower without taking a pocketbook in the bathroom with her. I was stealing everything that was locked down, and it was really rough. I just took everything. And my father never curses. He's 98 today and he's my best friend. He said, man, get the F-bomb out of here. You destroying your mother, you killing us. So I heard about a meeting and so I had been involved in it when I was in jail and all that stuff. But anyway, I went to this meeting, I cried real hard. And I said, I need help, snot and everything. I was a sick case. And I raised my hand and he said, come on, I'm gonna take you to the shelter. I ended up going to the shelter and I ran into some Pina Colada MD 2020 on the way there. So I was in there for a little bit. Then I ran out because I never seen Pina Colada MD 2020 before. So I had to take a taste of that. It took me 10 more days to get back. Ended up at Blair Shelter, and that's when my recovery started. That's when my life got so much better. And I realized that the fellowship will carry you a long way here. But the program, if you do the program, you'll hit a home run. And I dealt with the fellowship because I walked down the steps, a room with a view, and they greeted me. This tall white lady, I love her. She hugged me, and I hugged her, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm coming from Blair Shelter, and this woman hugging me like that." I was saying, "Oh, there is a God. This must be the right place." They had designer tea bags. All I knew was about Lipton tea and stuff. They had lemon drop tea and mint tea and all that stuff. And then finally, I was there for about a month, and they said, "Would you like to be the coffee maker? Would you like to do that? And we're going to give you a key." I hadn't had a key to nothing in I don't know how many years. Anyway, I kept going on with the program, y'all. I went on with the program. And because my decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God, as I understand it, put me on the path of justice and love. And I'm telling you, things that I had no idea was going to happen to me happened. One of the first things that happened to me at Blair Shelter, I was with the Coalition for the Homeless, and I went to this Second and D shelter place and got me a suit. And I went to this job, and the lady that kind of was my boss, she hired me from the Coalition for the Homeless. They sent me to the United States Park Police Aviation Section, the same people that chased me when I fell through that roof. They chased me, and they were like, "Oh my God, dude, you know." But anyway, I stayed there for a while, and they saw me. They said, "We see something in you you don't even see in yourself. Here's the miracle." I went over there scrubbing toilet stools and everything, and they told me, they said, "Eric," so the contract was ending. I told them, I said, "You know what? I need to tell all of y'all something because the contract." And I said, "I broke in Sammy's liquor store, and I don't know if it was you or your father or whoever was driving the helicopter. Shine the light down." They bust out laughing. They said, "We've been watching you. You cough everywhere you was because we had guns around. But we see something in you." And they put a Betamax tape in there, and they had recorded me in the liquor store. And they said, "Look at you talking to the dog." They were laughing. I was telling the dogs, "Look, leave me alone. I told y'all I give." Talking to the dogs like they're human beings. And anyway, they were laughing like crazy. And they said, "You know what we're going to do? We're going to go to a federal judge to see if we can get your record purged because we see something in you." I was like so amazed. And they did that. They went to a federal judge and got my record purged. Matter of fact, I retired from the National Park Service a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago. And the Aviation Special SWAT team had my retirement celebration there at the aviation hangar. My family's been up in the helicopters and things. I'm just saying the miracles that happened to you in this program. I've been all over this country because I started fighting wildfires. I went to school. I saw the fact that these guys with a green and yellow shirt on was going fighting fires. And I asked them, "How do you do that?" And I learned it. Then they sent me to school. They sent me to school to learn this, how to fight fire. So I went to meteorology school. I went to fire behavior classes. I got my pesticide, herbicide license. I just like Rip Van Winkle. Without drugs and alcohol, my life was really, really one. I woke up, life without drugs and alcohol. Oh my God. It's a beautiful thing that happened to me. I ended up getting my record purged. I had a top secret clearance. I ended up being one of the managers of the National Park Service. I ended up running a whole lot of areas. And when I say I'm talking about y'all and God and me, because without the effort, it wouldn't happen. I ended up fighting wildfires all over the country. I ended up going to Afghanistan to be able to help them learn how to put out the gas rigs. I was with Miss Obama in the garden, helping her with the mulching and teaching her about how you do compost and things like that. I'm sharing these things with y'all to show you what God can do for you if you just do the next right thing. That's why I start off telling y'all about me in jails and institutions, because no matter how far down the scale you've gone, you see how your experience can benefit another. See, people here with 8 days and 9 days and 0 days and things like that. They need to hear somebody like me share about what can happen if you just stay long enough with what God has in store for you, you can handle. It's such a wonderful thing to be here, y'all. And I just thank God for Dylan, who invited me to come and share with y'all. I'm going to shut it off now so somebody else can share. And I want to thank y'all, and I will be back. Thank you.